All right, let's dive into Think and Grow Rich. I mean, we're talking about a book praised by everyone from Supreme Court justices to, like, business giants.
And for good reason, it really is packed with wisdom.
Yeah, all thanks to that challenge from Andrew Carnegie, right? The steel tycoon.
Yeah, he challenged Napoleon Hill to figure out the success secrets of hundreds of self-made millionaires.
Over 20 years Hill spent on that.
It's amazing, isn't it? Carnegie believed that this knowledge shouldn't be, hidden away. He wanted it shared with everyone.
And we are definitely going deep here, right?
Yeah.
Like, beyond just summarizing, we're pulling out those golden nuggets, the stuff you can actually use.
Exactly, the actionable stuff.
Hmm.
Because Hill outlines 13 principles for success.
And trust me, they're not just, feel-good fluff. This is powerful stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And it all starts with this idea of burning desire.
And Hill really emphasizes this isn't just wishing or hoping.
It's a deep commitment, one that drives you to action.
And that's where the story of Edwin Barnes comes in.
Oh, this is a good one.
This guy was set on working with Thomas Edison, not just for him.
A big difference.
Huge. And Barnes had, no money, zero connections to Edison.
But he visualized his goal constantly.
Relentlessly.
It's like he willed it into being.
And then he took that massive action, too.
Oh, yeah. Quit his job, moved to New Jersey, barely any money to his name.
Talk about burning your ships, no going back.
Exactly. Total commitment.
So this makes me wonder, what's your burning desire? Is there something you want so much you'd be willing to make those kinds of sacrifices?
It's a powerful question.
And then fueling that desire, Hill says, is faith.
He calls it the eternal elixir.
Which breathes life into your aspirations.
It's belief, Belief in yourself and the power of your thoughts to shape your reality.
And then he gets in this really mind-bending concept called autosuggestion.
This is where things get interesting.
So the idea is, if you repeat something to yourself enough, your subconscious mind actually starts to believe it.
Whether it's true or not at the start.
Right. Think of it like planting these seeds in your mind.
And he uses this powerful story about his own son. His son was born deaf.
Wow.
And Hill just kept telling his son, you can hear, you can speak.
What happened?
The boy eventually could.
No way.
It's the power of belief, literally reshaping reality.
That is wild. It makes you think, what limiting beliefs are holding you back?
Mm-hmm.
And could you use this principle of faith to change them? Create a better reality for yourself.
I mean, that's the challenge, isn't it? To really examine those beliefs we hold on to.
For sure. Okay, now let's switch gears a bit to this idea of specialized knowledge.
Right.
Hill makes it clear that just having knowledge, it's only potential power.
It's like you've got a toolbox full of tools, but you don't know how to use them.
He uses Henry Ford as an example. Now, Ford, he didn't have much formal education.
But he knew automobiles.
Inside and out. And that specialized knowledge made him a giant in the industry.
So it's not about just knowing a bunch of random facts.
It's about the right knowledge and, more importantly, knowing how to use it in the real world.
That's where the magic happens, right?
Absolutely. He tells this story about a salesman who wants to start a bookkeeping business. I knew bookkeeping like the back of his hand.
Wow.
No clue how to market his services.
It's a classic example.
Right. It's a good reminder that practical application is everything. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you can't put it to use, what's the point?
Now, let's talk about imagination. Hill calls it the architect of dreams.
So it's the ability to see beyond what's there, right?
Yeah.
Envision those new possibilities.
It's about thinking outside the box.
And he divides it into two types, right?
Yeah, there's synthetic imagination. So that's taking existing ideas, blending them in new ways.
And then creative imagination, where it's totally original ideas.
Both are crucial for turning desires into reality.
Like in the story of the enchanted kettle.
Oh, this one's great. This guy buys a simple recipe for a cleaning product. And using his imagination and some action, he turns it into this huge business.
So even something seemingly small can be huge if you have the right mindset.
Absolutely.
Okay, moving on to organized planning.
This is where the rubber meets the road.
Hill is adamant. You need a plan. It's your roadmap, guiding your desires to where they need to go.
Otherwise, you're just wandering aimlessly.
And then he gets into this concept of the mastermind.
This is about surrounding yourself with brilliance.
Right. Those people who share your vision.
And who can contribute their expertise to help you achieve your goals.
Hill's point is, nobody has all the answers.
We achieve so much more together.
Think about it. Who's in your mastermind group? Are you tapping into their collective wisdom, their unique strengths?
Great question.
And then we get to persistence.
Hill defines it as unwavering determination.
To overcome every obstacle.
To never give up on your dreams no matter how hard things get.
And he tells this story, it's heartbreaking but also inspiring, about R.U. Darby. This guy lost a fortune in gold mining.
Wow.
He gave up digging, like 3 feet from a vein of gold.
Are you serious?
I know, it's brutal. But Darby, he learned a massive lesson from that experience.
About persistence.
Yeah. And he applied it to his insurance career, became super successful. His story shows us that failure, it's not the end.
It's a chance to learn and adapt.
And come back stronger. Every setback, it holds the seeds of future success.
That's a powerful way to look at it. All right, we've talked about some pretty powerful principles so far.
We have.
But Hill introduces this concept that might surprise you.
Okay, hit me with it.
It's the sixth sense.
Sixth sense. Wait, is this like ESP?
Not exactly. He describes it as creative imagination. It's this faculty that separates geniuses from ordinary folks.
Okay, now I'm intrigued.
Hill believed we can all cultivate the sixth sense.
Really?
Through practice, we can strengthen it.
So what, like predicting the future? Reading minds?
Not quite. It's more about tapping into a higher level of intelligence.
Interesting.
A source of inspiration and insight that goes beyond our everyday thinking.
So more like accessing deeper creativity, intuition, that sort of thing.
You got it.
Okay, I'm following you.
It's about connecting the dots in ways others might miss. And Hill himself used creative visualization techniques to tap into this.
That makes sense. And he even had a group of invisible counselors.
Right, historical figures he would mentally consult with for guidance.
Wow, invisible counselors. That's next level. I'm curious, though, how can we develop and use our own sixth sense for, extraordinary results?
Well, it starts with acknowledging that this faculty exists within us.
Okay, makes sense.
Then we can try things like meditation, visualization, deep reflection.
So quieting the mind to make room for those deeper insights.
Exactly, that's the idea.
This is fascinating. Like, we all have this hidden superpower.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that can really hold us back.
Right, what's that?
Fear.
Fear. Yeah, that's a big one.
Hill is very clear. Fear is a dream killer.
I can see that. It can paralyze you, stop you from taking risks.
Exactly. It stifles creativity, keeps us playing small, settling for less than we're capable of.
And nobody wants that feeling of being held back by fear.
Right, so what do we do about it?
Well, how do we break free?
Hill breaks down fear into 6 basic types.
Oh, interesting.
Poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death.
That covers a lot of ground.
It does, and he encourages us to analyze these fears.
To understand them better.
Yeah, to see where they come from, how they show up in our lives.
I like that approach. I feel like understanding the root of a fear can make it less scary.
It's like shining a light on the monster in the closet, right?
Exactly.
Once we understand our fears, we can start replacing them with faith and courage.
It's about facing them head on.
Right, not letting them control us.
Hill uses a pretty dramatic example to illustrate this.
What's that?
King Edward VIII abdicating the throne for love.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Talk about a bold move.
Giving up power and position for something he truly valued.
It makes you think, what sacrifices are you willing to make for what truly matters?
That's a deep question.
It is. It forces us to examine our priorities, right?
Absolutely. And sometimes the things that matter most require us to step outside our comfort zones.
No doubt. Okay, let's dive into another concept Hill explores.
All right, which one?
The subconscious mind.
Ah, yes. He calls it our silent partner.
So how do we work with this silent partner?
Well, Hill emphasizes feeding it with positive, empowering thoughts.
Makes sense.
We do this through autosuggestion and visualization, like we discussed earlier.
Right. By choosing our thoughts, we can influence our subconscious mind.
And in turn, shape our experiences.
It's almost like programming our minds for success.
It is powerful stuff.
No.
Now, let's touch on a topic that can be a bit controversial.
Which is?
Organized capital.
Ah, yeah, that's a loaded term.
Hill acknowledges the role of capitalism in creating wealth and opportunity.
But he's not saying, like, greed is good. Right.
Not at all. He stresses the importance of fair play, ethical conduct, cooperation.
Between employers, employees, the public.
Exactly. He emphasizes the interconnectedness of the economic system.
So it's about using capital as a tool for good.
Yes, for creating a more equitable and just society.
And also recognizing that we each have our own personal capital.
Our skills, network, knowledge, all of that.
Right, and investing in ourselves, developing our potential.
Honestly.
Wow, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive.
We have. from burning desires to the sixth sense, fear to organized capital.
Hill's book is a real treasure trove of wisdom.
It's really been quite a journey through these principles.
I know, right? Like I've been taking notes the whole time. What gets me is that Hill's insights, they aren't just, theories.
They're tools you can actually use
Exactly.
to shape your life.
It's like he's reminding us that success isn't about luck or being born into the right family or any of that.
It's about understanding these principles.
And applying them. He gives us this blueprint for turning desire into reality. But it takes work,
Effort.
commitment.
And a willingness to challenge those, those limiting beliefs that we all have.
We all have them. Oh, for sure. But one thing Hill talks about that really stuck with me is the fear of criticism.
Oh, that's a big one.
It is. He's saying live authentically.
Don't let what other people think hold you back.
And that's hard, especially these days.
So much pressure to fit in.
I know, right? But Hill reminds us the only opinion that really matters is your own.
Tune out the noise.
Focus on what feels right to you.
Exactly.
And to wrap things up, he asked this really powerful question. What dream are you putting off? Because of what others might think. What are you afraid to go after? Because you're worried about judgment,
It really makes you think, what am I truly passionate about? What brings me joy?
And am I actually living in line with those things?
Yeah. Hill also encourages us to revisit these ideas often. Keep coming back to Think and Grow Rich for inspiration, motivation.
It's not a book to read once and forget about.
It's a guide for life, right?
Yeah.
A reminder that we all have the power within us to create the life we want.
Absolutely. So there you have it. Those are the most potent and maybe even surprising ideas from Think and Grow Rich.
Distilled down for you.
Hopefully this deep dive has been insightful
Inspiring.
and empowering.
Now it's your turn.
Go out there and create the life of your dreams.